suffering, and yeah.
Sounds nice.
But they talked fast, so it was good.
That was good. What was did you have a party piece?
No,
No, not really.
no, not really, no.
Um, what kind of music did you like?
Oh, I like U2,
Oh.
Guns N' Roses,
Uh-huh.
Bon Jovi, all heavy metal stuff. Actually, my very best friend, who I'm still in touch with today, that lives in Ireland, we were the only two out on the dance floor doing the heavy metal songs. The Guns N' Roses songs, the head banging, and we wonder why the next day our necks were very, very stiff, and yeah.
And did you do the whole thing with the hair coloring and the whole business?
Oh no, I never went that far.
No.
Never went that far. Spiked my hair one night though.
Yeah. And how'd your parents like that?
They didn't like it. No. Right. One of my other friends put food colouring in her hair one night. She'd dark black hair. And she's 13. We're up babysitting for her brother. So she decided to put plum food colouring in her hair. Came out very nice. Until the next morning when we were walking to school, it was raining. So I think that kind of put me off even to this day of dyeing my hair.
Oh my God, when she got to school, it
Yeah.
must have been red.
All down on her uniform.
Oh
Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
It's priceless.
Yeah. Sounds like some good memories there.
Yeah.
How important was the church community in your growing up experience?
You had to go on a Sunday. You just had to go to church. Mm-hmm. If your parents didn't, normally when you're younger, you'd go with your parents. But then when you get older, when you get to like 9 or 10, they'll allow you to go with your friends. But you had to know what the sermon was about. You had to know who said Mass. Because there's probably only 3 priests in the parish. Uh-huh. So you had to know who said Mass. You had to know who was doing the off-tree procession, because there was only 1 or 2 clerks that used to do it. So if you came back home after not going to church and rattled off so-and-so's name, and then they found out that, the priest was up in the hospital that day giving rights to somebody, or you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble.
So what was your first communion? How was that celebrated in the 70s? First communion.
Oh my goodness. I remember I went to Waterford, which is about 30 miles away, to get my communion dress. And my mother wanted me to get a long one. And I said, no, I want to get a short one. So I won. And I got a short one that was like halfway up my legs, and got a nice little dainty little white socks and the veil and the little white purse and the whole shebang. I don't actually remember being in the church making my Holy Communion. I remember standing outside and getting the family pictures done at church, and then we go to a professional photographer, and we get, the family, with the siblings, and then with the mother, and then with the father, and, the godparents. And then we usually went to one of the hotels for a meal. I believe mine one was in the Clonmel Arms. I believe that's where I had it. And then after the meal, you were allowed to go up to town, and you'd have your purse with you, and you'd be after making money. And of course, you made everyone and anybody on the street that saw you in this white dress so come over and give you 50p, or they'll give you £1, or you thought you were great, and you went into the sweet shop and bought a load of sweets. And then you got killed when you went home because your dress was all destroyed. Chocolate stains down along it.
Oh my gosh, it must have been like Easter, right?
Yeah.
And how about confirmation? Now you were much older, of course, by confirmation.
Actually, I don't remember as much of my confirmation. I think I wore a wine colour skirt and blazer, because in those days you had to have some kind of a suit. So I can't even remember where my mom picked it out for me, but I remember going for the family pictures, and I remember taking Elizabeth as my confirmation name, and the next day I told my mother and father that I wanted to change it because I didn't like the name Elizabeth anymore. They told me no, I was stuck with it. We went out for a meal again, and went and saw the relatives and all that. I think it was more so to get more money in my purse, but
Yes, yeah.
But that's really all. I can't remember too much of my confirmation. I remember more of my communion, which is strange, but
yeah. And now, because it's a city, probably the handling of when somebody died was different than what they would have been doing in the country. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember how funerals were handled? When you were growing up, how it was like, what it was like?
Normally, if it was somebody, we'll say in our estate that passed away, if they didn't pass away at home, if they passed away at a hospital or wherever, the all the windows in the house be drawn. So the curtains and blinds and everything would be drawn. Normally, the evening of the passing, normally the neighbours and that would go and offer condolences and that, and they'd have a prayer service in the house, and then usually the following night they go to the mortuary, where they'd have another rosary session, then onto the church, and the following morning then burial in the cemetery. They'd have a mass first and then the burial in the cemetery.
So would the body be laid in the church the night before?
No, in the mortuary.
In the mortuary. So you would not have, I guess it's more of a country tradition to take the body to the church, is that right?
It depends on the family as well.
Yeah, okay.
I've had neighbours growing up who passed away in the hospital, and they'd had them laid out at home and then brought to the mortuary and had prayer service, and then the following day the burial and the mass. And then there's other people that would have them just laid out at home. They wouldn't. They go straight from home to the church, like.
So actually, you would have people at home.
Oh yeah.
It's not just a country. Oh,
right.
Okay. And in your family, would that have happened or not?
My family, no.
No.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
No.
So it's kind of more of an individual
right.
kind of a choice, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, something more cheerful. How would St. Patrick's Day be celebrated in your area in Clonmel?
Well, first of all, we get the day off school, which is, the best thing ever. Then, usually the week before, our mothers will buy us a large badge. It would have like a rosette and, St. Patrick's Day on it, and it'd have either a harp on it or it'd have a cross on it. Or we'd always get that the week before that we'd pin on our shirts. And usually then around 11 o'clock or so, they'd have a big parade in the town, going down the main street of the town. There'd be actual handmade floats on it, various different stores and, the different clubs and everything. And after that, of course, you had to go to the pub.
Did you get to march in the parades?
No, we usually got to march alongside him. I was never in the Girl Scouts or anything like that, because, I'm the tomboy, so. But if you're in the Girl Scouts or if you're in the local band, you'd be in the parade. But otherwise, you'd just be watching it. The whole town turns out, for it. And then you go to the pub afterwards. And, if you go with your parents, then you get a bottle of Coke or a bottle of lemonade and a bag of chips.
You went by yourself? What did you get?
Yeah, if you went by yourself. Well, it depends what age you were. And who was at the table, you could sneak a few drinks.
Is it still pretty much the same way in Clonmel?
Still the same.
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
How about Bridget's Day? Is Bridget's Day celebrated?
No.
No. Easter?
Easter is so, yeah.
Yeah, is that one of the bigger ones?
Oh, yeah. You get 2 weeks holidays from school then.
Wow.
Holidays from school was a big thing with me.
Yeah, I can tell.
But in Ireland they do Easter slightly different than here. Here they do like the Easter egg hunt. In Ireland, Easter egg in Ireland is a large hollow chocolate egg, and you'd have your favourite candy, be it Maltesers, which are I don't know, malt duds or milk duds or something.
Yeah,
It'd be something like that here. But they'd have plain chocolate, and if you're going out with a guy at the time, the bigger the egg that you got for Easter, the more he liked you. But when we were growing up and the next day, like at school, all our friends would be like, well, how many eggs did you get? Oh, I got 15 eggs. I got 22. Oh.
So the ones that there's some down in the pub right now.
Yes.
That kind of a thing. They come in a big box and they're wrapped
Correct,
in
yep.
foil or something.
Yep, they're basically a hollow chocolate egg, and depending on what variety of candy that you got, you'd get little candies inside it.
At the same time, yeah.
Right.
Okay. And church was also, of course, a part of that.
Oh, yeah, you had the big Easter dinner. It was like a Christmas dinner.
What was that? What would you have typically for a dinner?
Basically the same as Christmas. You'd have the roast turkey, you'd have, the beef, roast potatoes, vegetables, some kind of fancy dessert for afterwards, and you'd sit like at what you would call the Christmas dining table. And the dining room was only allowed, on special occasions, if you had relatives come in, or if you're Christmas and Easter, or if you had see birth in the family or something like that, you'd all get around this table, you know. Any other time of the year, you weren't allowed to sit at it unless you're doing your homework. But the fancy lace and everything got out, you know, and the crystals and you name it, the silverware, everything. It all came out for that big shindig.
And how many of those traditions do you carry on in your home today?
Not too much, really. Easter is not really family gathering as such since it came over here. Christmas is, of course.
Yeah.
All the family gets together at Christmas. The only thing that I keep really at Easter is the Easter eggs.
You get the
Right,
Irish Easter
the
eggs.
Irish Easter eggs, yeah.
And at Christmas now, Christmas at home, and what was it like at home? How did you decorate, and did you have a Christmas tree, those things?
Yep, yeah, I had a Christmas tree. It was usually homemade lanterns and that you make in school that you'd hang from the ceiling, and you decorate them more in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of ceiling decorations that I remember trying to get up there one year to put up the decorations. I was standing on the famous Christmas table and then put a chair on top of that because I was short, so I couldn't reach the ceiling with the thumbtack.
Yeah.
So I would go from one corner into the centre and then go from centre to the other corner and dangling down. You decorate all the mirrors with tinsel and holly. Holly was a big thing in Ireland. All the pictures were decorated with holly, and you had the big tree and no presents underneath the tree.
Why not?
Weren't allowed until Christmas Eve night when we're all gone to bed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it was a Santa Claus.
Okay. And
Yeah.
did you believe in Santa Claus when you were a kid?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Until my good brother Sean told me there was no Santa Claus.
And how old were you then?
I was about 8.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told him no. I said, there is a Santa Claus. I get all these presents at Christmas. And he brought me upstairs to the attic, which is at the top of the stairs. There's a landing and there's a large hot press. You'd have to climb. There's 2 shelves on the hot press, so you'd have to climb to the top shelf of the hot press, lift up the attic door, and lo and behold, here are all the presents from Santa Claus in there. So I was very sad that year.
I bet you were.
Yeah.
I bet you were.
But then I was very happy because my brother got an awful beating. He got the Sally switch, as my mom calls it, where you get a piece of the backyard hedge and you leave 1 or 2 leaves on it and right across the back of the legs.
Those little marks. And
yeah.
You were happy about that.
Oh, I was very happy.
What was your favorite toy? Do you remember? Do you have a special toys that you used to get that you really liked?
My favourite toy? I think it was a doll I got from my uncle. I believe he was in Australia at the time and he came back. It was, thinking back now, it was a very ugly doll, but the body of it was green felt and it had like a plastic face. And there was green felt up on the head for all the world. And I thought it was the best thing because it came from Australia.
Yeah.
And that Australia was so far away.
Did they have things like Barbie dolls?
They probably did, but I don't ever remember owning any.
Yeah.
Never
More of an
remember owning
American
any.
type of toy, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah. Would you describe an Irish sky for me?
An Irish sky?
Yeah.
Very cloudy and grey.
All the time?
About 70% of it.
How about a nighttime sky?
Oh, well, in the summertime, it was still nice and blue up until 9:30, 10 o'clock. It would only start getting dark around 10:30 because summer nights, we didn't have to be in until it was dark. And we loved it because it was always 10:30, 10:45 at night by the time it got dark in the summer.
Yeah.
So it was pretty nice. A lot of red skies at night.
And red skies mean what?
If I remember the rhyme, red sky, night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that meant that a red
gonna
sky
be-
at night was going to
It's going to be a good day the next day.
How about rainbows? Did you get many rainbows around?
Lots of rainbows. We'd have soft rain in Ireland. If it didn't downpour all day long, you'd have soft rain, where it could rain for 2 minutes or it could rain for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But always afterwards, the sun would come out and you'd see the rainbow.
Yeah.
Never
you
found
like-
a leprechaun.
Did you like that? I mean, did you like rainbows when you were a kid?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Especially when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's like, look at the sky. It's all these funny colours.
Yeah. Beautiful. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. And so in your childhood memory, though, there was more gray days than there was sunny days. But now you're saying in the summertime it was beautiful.
Oh, in the evenings, yeah. 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, not to be dark. You didn't have to go in.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Hang out with your friends.
How about birthdays? How was a birthday celebrated in your house?
I always usually get the big birthday cake and put the candles on it. You know, the usual over here. And if you're lucky enough, you know, you're got the Rice Krispie buns, and a few of your friends like came by and they all sang happy birthday, but they sang it so fast because all they wanted was that cake.
Cake.
It wasn't like the run of the mill cake that you get over here, like a Stop and Shop or something. It would be direct from the bakery, so it'd have the fresh cream and you know the fresh chocolate and the sprinkles and delicious.
Sounds good. Makes
And if you're lucky, you got a toy.
a tie.
A toy.
A toy. A
Yeah.
toy for your birthday.
Yeah.
From your,
If
from
you were
your
lucky.
family. Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. Did they do now? Was it it's 16? Is that a big birthday in Ireland, or is it 21? Is the bigger one?
Usually 16, 18 and 21. More so 18 and 21.
Yeah.
You know, you always have some relative that will give you the plastic key. 21.
Well,
A
plastic
key, a plastic key, like a silver key,
Yes.
maybe about this length. I have them in
Yeah.
all the stores in Ireland for when you turn 21. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to represent, but you'd always got this silver key.
Silver key.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have a big party when you turned 21?
I didn't because I was just after moving here to the States.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So I went to the local Irish club up the stairs over to Fairfield Jewelers, and I sat down and I had my vodka and Coke and I said happy birthday to me, and then I went home.
there was nobody with you?
Well, my sister-in-law Jude and my brother were with me, but other than that, there was no one with me.
Yeah. So you didn't
Yeah.
have the big blowout thing where all the family.
No.
comes and everyone was hired.
No.
Okay.
I'll have to have it for me 40th or something.
Oh wow, that's a long ways off.
Oh yeah, about 20 years away.
How about in your area? Was there any historical events that took place in Clonmel in that area?
Actually, across from our parish, St. Peter Paul's Church, it was called the old post office because it used to actually be a post office. But back in, I think it was around 1916, a Father Sheen was hanged outside of it. And not really sure why, but I just remember that he was hanged outside of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Must have been protesting or something.
Something, yeah,
Yeah.
probably about the rising or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that kind of thing, what